A strong lineup of critically acclaimed award-winning films will screen at this year's Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, which opens today at a number of locations across Trinidad and Tobago. The founder is Bruce Paddington, and with him, German director Jonas Scholl, whose film Kingston Crossroads is to be screened here. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Excited.
You're excited?
Yeah.
But before we dive into it a bit, I understand that the recent weather patterns have been posing a challenge.
I mean, it's very hard to compare our problems with what's happening with somewhere like Dominica or the Lesser or Greater Antilles. But it is affecting us, strangely enough, because we have filmmakers from the Caribbean, filmmakers from Puerto Rico. We need to get FedEx services to bring in last-minute films and so on. So we're having a few challenges to make sure we get as many of our guests as possible, because the guests are very, very important. Jonas got the last plane, he said, out of Barbados yesterday.
Yeah.
So he's here, but some others are stuck in Miami. But the show will go on, as they say.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Kingston Crossroads, and I'll read the synopsis very quickly so that our viewers would get an idea. So it is an exciting and intimate journey through one of the world's most diverse and controversial cities, Kingston, the capital of Jamaica. Kingston Crossroads is a snapshot of the country's current social and political situation, told through the personal perspectives of several fascinating Jamaicans. At the crossroads of the title, old and young generations, unique storylines and inspiring visions meet. Tell us about this. What inspired this particular film?
I think first of all it was the passion for Jamaican culture and music. It was the master thesis of me and a good friend, Oliver Becker, who unfortunately cannot be here today. I studied film and he studied visual anthropology, so we came together and thought about, let's do a documentary, and as also a master thesis, and developed like this.
Tell me about your experience in Jamaica. You love reggae music, I would imagine.
Yeah. It was very interesting for us because as a student project we had very little budget, and we didn't have the money and the time for research. So it was actually the first time we've been to Kingston when we shot the film. Yeah. But we were listening to reggae music about 15 years, both of us. We know all these names of places and artists and the language and the culture.
So how was it for you, in your experience, in actually filming this particular piece, moving through different parts of Jamaica?
Yeah. It was very interesting, very exhausting sometimes too, because there was so much information coming from all sides towards you. Everything was new, and then you have to find out this story could match in the film, or this one maybe not, but let's shoot it.
Your focus has been social, political, and cultural outlooks. Tell us why these particular aspects stand out for you.
We wanted to break with most of the cliches that exist in the world, maybe especially in Europe, because it's so far away from the Caribbean, that reggae and the Caribbean is just about sunshine and smoking marijuana and relaxing. So that was our first part, and show the culture, how we experienced it, and that there's much more beside the sunshine reggae.
So what do you think the response would be like?
Hopefully good. Some weeks ago we just won the Best Documentary Award in London.
Congratulations.
Film Festival, at the I Will Tell Festival. And we got also nominated here in Trinidad for Best Documentary. And
this also will be released throughout the world. Tell us about some of the other places, other film festivals that they're going to premiere.
I think there's one more festival coming up in state of New York in October, Outer Docs Festival. And then we had some festivals already running, and hopefully there are more coming up.
Tell us about I Will Tell. What is that about?
I Will Tell. It's actually a Trinidadian woman. She was born in Trinidad.
Yeah.
And she's living in London, and she's running it for, I think, about 11 years. Her name is Jenny Lee. And it's a wonderful small festival, so everybody who's living in London, who's visiting London in the time when the I Will Tell festival taking place, just really one of the best festivals I've been to. It's very small, but good.
Excellent. Now, Mr. Paddington, you have a lot to celebrate. Flo has announced that it will spend over $5 million over the next 3 years, so 2 years rather. Last year they made that a declaration as the presenting sponsor for the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. How do you feel about this?
Well, obviously I'm very pleased. The hardest thing for the arts is actually raising the money. The artistic side of the arts is not so difficult because you can rely on your own creativity and so on. But when you want to put on a festival and you want to bring in filmmakers and bring in films from all over the Caribbean, it's quite a challenge to raise money to do this. So obviously for Flow to sign on for 3 years was fantastic, or is fantastic. And yeah, they will be talking tonight at the opening of the festival, and they've been supporting us for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
They're not our only sponsor, but they're our presenting sponsor. They're our main sponsor. It's allowed us to be in the big leagues of film festivals.
How far has the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival come in terms of, let's say, seeing local film grow from strength to strength?
I think the number of excellent films that we show every year is testament to the success of the festival, and especially local films, Trinidad and Tobago films. Last year we opened the festival with Play the Devil, produced by Abigail Hadid and directed by Miria Govan. And then we had a special presentation on a film called Cutlass, again another Trinidad film. This year we're starting, as you know, with Green Days by the River. We have then another Trinidad film called Moko Jumbi by Vashti Anderson. So we're seeing really high quality Caribbean films, and specifically Trinidad and Tobago films. We have so many good Trinidad and Tobago films that we're part of Patriotism Month. And on Republic Day, we're showing only Trinidad and Tobago films at the 3 movie town venues in Port of Spain, in San Fernando and Tobago. So it's not just that we are showing more films, but we're showing higher quality films, and that's great.
We also understand that Flow, last year they led some, they hosted some workshops for participating filmmakers. How effective was that?
We always feel that we have 2 main purposes of the film festival. One is to show the sort of films that you would not normally see, or films made by our neighbors that we should be seeing all the time, but we don't get to see. But the other area, the other activity is training workshops, is industry-related events to grow the film industry, both in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. And so every year we have some form of workshop, whether it's on screenwriting, whether it's on co-productions, whether it's on the use of sound in a film, or whatever it is. And Flow, through their sponsorship, has allowed us to put on excellent workshops every year.
Now, in terms of growth, I remember in our last conversation, you did mention that you would like to see some of these films actually be part of a series on television.
Yes.
What plans do you have put in place to actually make that happen?
Well, we are looking to see, because if we're showing almost 120 films, and many people then hear about the films, but they finished and they've gone. So where can a Trinidad and Tobago person or a Caribbean person see these films? So distribution is very, very important. What we have is the content. We have the 120 films, and most of the filmmakers would like to have their films shown in other venues and would like to earn some money from the films. So, so the cinemas are beginning to catch on. They're beginning to show more local films. We don't think enough, but they showed Cutlass, they showed Bazodi, they're beginning to, and they're going to be showing Green Days by the River. And now we've heard that we're going to have a new TTT.
Yes. And
the new TTT is supposed to be a venue for local content. So obviously the film festival could feed that and earn some money for the filmmakers. So we're excited about it. as well as the films we're showing this year, we have a database of 500-600 films. And I think it's up to the cinemas and the TV stations to make an effort to show these films. And because we need an alternative to the Hollywood and the Bollywood films.
Yeah. Have you made any proposals or any plans? Or
we actually have a proposal. We've actually just submitted to Movie Town. And when we know what's happening with TTT, or the new TTT,
yeah, we wait to find out.
Then yeah, we would like to have dialogue with them as well.
All right. So Jonas, I'd like to talk a little bit about the screening dates.
Yes.
Tell me, when is it going to be screened?
We are very honored to be here in the festival in Trinidad, and the screening dates are the 21st, the 20th, the 21st and the 23rd. Yes. In San Fernando, Port of Spain and Tobago.
Great, and just to give some information here, tickets will be available at the box office, and at the time of screenings, tickets at Movie Town are $30. For school screening at 10:30 a.m., only school children in uniform, teachers and tertiary level students with student ID pay $20. Screening at Hyatt Regency, Trinidad and the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine are free. Now, I also want to touch a little bit before we go on the power of women in film. I understand that there is a day of panels and presentations presented. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that before we wrap up.
Well, internationally there is a movement to have more representation by women in films, both in front of the camera and especially behind the camera.
Yeah.
And also to improve the representation of women. You know, women need to be seen in all the roles that they're involved in, which are basically the same as men.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you all.